Hey guys, welcome back. As you can see behind me, there's a build. But wait, it's not just any build. I have built a church to save the undead souls of Fellhollow. So to start this build, I've been looking around and I think I want to build it here in this weird triangle spot. And I'll be building it out of the new stone pieces that came with the Fellhollow update, which I haven't used yet and I'm quite excited to try them out. So as you can see here, I've already gathered a bunch of resources and grinded all the stuff that I needed to do this build. Spoiler alert, it wasn't enough, so I had to do a lot more grinding to get what I needed. Okay, so getting into the build, I started by trying to figure out my placement of the foundations. This was a bit tricky due to the shape of the land and the annoying rocks that were in my way. Eventually I just placed a couple foundations down and I hated it, so I deleted them right away. By this point I was just over it and I started slapping down foundations and said to myself it'll be good enough. So we started building our kind of foundation shape. I say shape, but realistically it was just a square, but don't worry, later on in the build I do add to it so it doesn't look as boxy. Now that we have our box shape, I start to work on figuring out where my windows, doors and walls would go in hopes that I could get my creative juices flowing so I could figure out how to turn this weird box into a church worthy of the dead. I understand how thrilling watching someone slowly build can be, so I've cut out like 90% of the building process. But for reference, I have over 5 hours of recording where I built, farmed resources, and built some more. So yeah, this build took quite a while. Once I got the first few walls and windows down, I finally started to see the vision. So I took a moment to take a step back for a proper look. And this is where I decided it was time to add more shape. I placed several foundations on both sides and added a couple to the back as well. And then I realized that the wood grain was facing the wrong direction and my OCD said nope. So I removed them and placed them in the correct direction. With that crisis averted, I continued on with the very slow and time-consuming process of building my walls and windows. However, this time, I think I may have caught the attention of the undead. They were hanging around, just watching me as I built them a way to finally rest their tortured souls. Seeing them so excited about the church, well, it gave me the boost I needed to keep going. Because I wasn't doing this for me, I was doing it for them. Well, here we are. This is where I am, and I'll be honest, at this point I hated the build. The vision was gone and I was considering tearing it down and just giving up. I pushed myself to keep going and decided to work on the windows. I wanted them to look more like windows and less like gaping holes in the walls. So I added some extra details by using some wooden beams. These gave the windows more depth and just made them look better. With the windows done, I figured it's time to add a door to enclose the build and make it safe. But the game said absolutely not. I have no idea why I couldn't get the door to work. I ended up tearing down this entire wall and the foundations, and still I couldn't place the damn door. So if you know why I couldn't place the stupid door, please comment down below because it's driving me mad. Anyway, here it is, walls and windows complete. Although the windows still looked a little funky, so I decided to add a stone pillar at the bottom to better show where the windows stop and start. And even though it was such a small detail, I do think it really completed the look. Even the rat thought it looked good. Moving on, it's time to get a roof on this build. Typically, roofing is not one of my building strengths, so I was surprised at how easy and how nice the roof turned out. I added 4 peaked roofs on the corners and raised the height of the roof in the center just to add a little depth and dimension, which in my opinion made the roof look really good. My husband spent 4 years as a roofer and his family own a very well-known roofing business in our town. I would like to think that they would be proud of this roof. Okay, so here is my build so far. All the walls and windows are finished and we have a roof. And as you can see, I also added a crucifix, which actually sits on the inside and the outside. I also got some really pretty lighting filtering through the windows, but that didn't last long as the surrounding trees and cliffs block most of the light. Speaking of light, we really need some. With the build now fully enclosed, it gets pretty dark in here. That's better. Now we just need to add some furniture and little details here and there. I'm not gonna lie, while editing this section of the video, I made the decision to completely cut out the parts where I furnished the build. Honestly, I would have had to do at least 50 little clips, and I just didn't want to have to do that. So here we are. Finally, it's done. As you can see, I've planted some willow and oak trees nearby. Probably a little too close to the build. I don't really know how I feel about them, so can you let me know in the comments what you guys think? Inside we have our church pews where people can sit. We've got our holy man at the front and a tribute/communion box where we can just store stuff. I added some bookshelves with some suspiciously floating books, and of course we have our lovely views from the windows. I also added an anvil so that I can repair my gear here rather than going all the way back to my base. If we look over this way, you'll see that I added a few other bits and bobs of decor, and we've got some more beautiful views on the windows of this side of the build. If we head outside and go around the back of the building, you'll find the Well of Holy Water. I also added some oak trees over this side to make it even prettier because your girl loves her aesthetics. Speaking of aesthetics, now I want to show you the build at nighttime because I think it looks even better. So this is the build at nighttime. I don't really think I need to add any commentary to this. The only thing that I will note is that I added some torches by the well, just to brighten it up a little bit. So this is the end of my undead church tour, and I think I already have some souls that want purifying. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye guys!